The Mysterious Guest. This is not a work of fiction. It is a true story, an experience that changed Ahmed's life forever. The night was deep and silent. The entire house was asleep, wrapped in the comforting embrace of darkness. But for Ahmed, this night was going to be different. Something beyond his understanding was about to happen. He lay in bed, cocooned in his deep blue blanket, drifting into sleep when suddenly, an eerie sensation washed over him. It felt as if someone was in the room watching him. Then he heard whispers, soft, playful like children giggling in hushed tones. But how? There were no children in the house. His heart pounded as he pulled the blanket tighter around himself, hoping the sounds would fade. But they didn't. Instead they grew louder, clearer. It felt as though tiny hands were scampering across his bed, running, playing, touching. A cold shiver ran down his spine. Summoning courage, he threw off the blanket and scanned the room. Nothing. Just my imagination, he muttered to himself and lay back down. But no sooner had he closed his eyes than the whispers returned, this time accompanied by the faint sound of footsteps, soft, deliberate, and circling his bed. Then something heavy landed on his mattress. It felt as if someone had climbed onto his bed, someone unseen. Ahmed's breath hitched in his throat. His body went rigid with fear. He could feel it, weight shifting on his bed, something moving towards him. Then, out of the corner of his eye, he saw it. A shadow. Small, hunched, with glowing red eyes, it crawled in the farthest corner of the room. It didn't walk, it slithered, moving like a predator. Ahmed wanted to scream, but no sound came out. His throat felt paralyzed. And then the shadow vanished. He gasped for breath, relief washing over him, until a whisper brushed against his ear. "Did you really think I left?" A scream built up inside him, but sheer terror kept it locked in his chest. His heart slammed against his ribs as he bolted for the door. But just as he reached it, a hand grabbed his arm. Not a human hand. Not warm. Not alive. Ice cold. Unnatural. Terrifying. His skin burned from the freezing grip, and an unearthly force yanked him backward. Ahmed struggled, but the grip tightened. He felt as if something was wrapping around his throat, pulling him into the darkness. In his mind, only one thought screamed, "Allah help me." And then he heard it, one final whisper. "Do you think sleeping without prayer has no consequences?" His heart stopped. The realization hit him like a thunderbolt. This wasn't just an encounter with the unknown. This was a warning. Gathering every ounce of strength left in him, he twisted, yanked himself free and staggered out of the room. He ran, stumbling, gasping, straight into his mother's room. His mother was already awake, deep in prayer. The moment she saw him, pale and trembling, she pulled him close, wrapping him in her arms. Without asking, she began reciting powerful prayers. The words echoed through the room, piercing through the unseen. Slowly, the heavy, suffocating presence lifted. The air became lighter. The darkness lost its grip. Tears streamed down Ahmed's face as he finally told his mother everything. She listened quietly, then placed a comforting hand on his head. "My son," she said gently, "this world is not just ours. Those who forget to seek Allah's protection sometimes face such trials. Never sleep without reciting your prayers. They will shield you from the unseen." Ahmed nodded, his body still trembling. He had learned his lesson. That night was real. It was not a dream. And from that moment on, he vowed he would never sleep without prayer again. The lesson. This true story serves as a chilling reminder. We are not alone. There are forces beyond our sight, watching, waiting. Protection comes only from Allah. Never take nighttime prayers lightly, for in the darkness, you never know what lurks unseen.